Hello, I'm Matt from Fast Car, and I'm joined today by a good friend of ours. This is Buzz, and he owns the world's quickest, not the world's, let's do it again.
No, cool. Listen, keep that.
The world's quickest
He keeps
Lambo.
confusing it. He keeps saying the world's Europe's fastest Lambo, but technically it's quickest because we're talking about acceleration.
Yeah, he's going to talk us through the car, and we'll find out what makes a 7-second Lamborghini.
Let's get into it. So Matt, one of the questions you asked me just before you started getting all like, I don't know what it was, worked up, getting nervous, don't know why he's nervous next to me, it might be because I was touching him, is what made me want to build such a killer build like this. Some people may know my GTR. You used to follow me well before these days.
Absolutely.
So I used to have a bright green Nissan GTR, R35. It was about 1,500 wheel. Unfortunately, I lost it in a fire whilst I was driving on the motorway. Wasn't an insurance claim before someone says that, before you even say that. I know the colour of my skin might say otherwise. And ever since then, I thought, you know what, I need to get something else now. I wasn't tired of the GTR platform because I've still got a 1,500 horsepower GTR now as well, a different one. But instead I thought, let's do something a bit different. No one's doing anything crazy with these kind of cars. So I thought, you know what, let's get a Huracan, got a Lamborghini and thought, I'm not going to touch any of it. But after the GTR happened, I went, you know what, I can't do this. So I started getting the itch. And next thing you know, I did a little twin turbo conversion. Was the fastest, oh no, see, I've got it wrong as well. See, it does happen. Quickest Lamborghini in Europe, wearing 8.4s. I held that for about a year or so until someone went quicker. And then I thought, what happens is when you're like me, you get itchy and you start thinking, I want to go quicker, I want more power. There's a little bit of ego in there, but there's also just that kind of adrenaline rush.
Yeah, of course.
These cars are meant to be, or at least going this fast is meant to be cheaper than doing drugs, but I'm not too sure if that is the case. Don't really want to try it, so I'd rather have an addiction to speed. And there we go. It just came down to chasing being the quickest, and here we are. This, on race fuel, runs just over 2,100 wheel, which is quite a bit. But then, on the streets, on pump fuel, this is probably only 610 horsepower.
Oh, yeah.
Stockpower. So something like that.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So let's have a look at the styling first. We'll get round to the turbos in a minute because I know you'll want to see that. But let's start with the styling first because this is a stock Huracan, right? It's not a Performante.
No, it's not Performante. So it's a standard LP610-4.
Yep.
One of the first few things we did after doing the twin turbo kit, which is by Boost Logic as well, I've got to shout them out because I've got a lot of love for them, is we decided to go for some Vorsteiner carbon parts with the Cream Developments body kit with the front bumper and the wings. So these are your Vorsteiner bits. Yep. Your Cream Development parts are here, including the wings. Vorsteiner rear wing, and we did also have a carbon rear bumper, which is off, which obviously so the guys will see. On here, we've got the Boost Logic wheels as well. So even looking at the car, in my opinion, is, and I'm going to be probably, I'm biased, but it's probably one of the best looking fast Huracans out there.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
It is. And the green, the famous green.
Why
do you love green so much?
You know what? I don't actually know. It's a bad habit. Like it's got to the point now where it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know, you could literally paint a piece of shit on the floor and paint it green, and I'd probably eat it.
Let's go take a look at the business end of this then, because everything this shouts about is hanging out the rear here with no bumper. Let's talk about this and let's get technical for a second. What turbos are we talking?
Okay.
What's the engine setup?
Cool. So turbo kit, Boost Logic turbo kit. We've got Garrett G42 1200s. So there's obviously two of them. Yep. Custom exhaust by the Tech Boys, so that's the exhaust company. Yep. And on top of that, the heart of it is the T1 built engine. Right. So this car runs on Motec, and we've got Tony Payload tuning it. So he gives me all the sport, so shout out to Tony, sick guy. And then we've got more Boost Logic goodies. So we've obviously got an intake manifold here, which has obviously got to be matching green. It's not the matching green to the Lambo, which is upsetting because I couldn't find the right colour. Okay. So people have said, Buzz, why not go for a totally different green so it's obvious? And I was like, nah, I wanted to get it kind of close. So there's other core components, such as there's stuff that you can't see, such as the gearbox, all fully built, everything, billet parts all over. Very, very expensive. Then on top of that, you've got things like the custom drag wheels. You've also got little things like there has the ability to put a parachute on when we really want to turn it up, which you won't see in the UK many often. I think it's the only car in the UK that's running a parachute that's a Lambo anyway, or a V10. Okay. And then also to make sure we've got the right equipment to back it up, we've got safeties inside. So we've got roll bar, obviously the parachute element, we've got a harness. I just don't feel comfortable racing with a seatbelt on at these kind of speeds, right?
Let's talk pub figures then. How fast?
Okay, so the quickest, not fast, I've got to teach him on this, even though I messed up earlier, it's gone 7.75 at 193 miles an hour at this strip a few weeks ago.
30, 60, come on, 130.
And that enabled us to be Europe's quickest Lamborghini /R8. I keep saying /R8 because I don't know if people know, but the R8 and the Lambo have the exact same engine, chassis, gearbox. So literally they are pretty much the same. Yeah. But yeah, so that's where we are. I want to go quicker if I can, but it all comes down to getting the right launch.
Figures, what are we talking, 2,500 horsepower roughly?
Yeah, so I talk in wheel horsepower because of my American bros, and they laugh at me like, you UK guys with the British horsepower, and it's like, no mate, it's brake. So it's 2,100 wheel, which is about 2,500 horsepower. But being clear, that's only on ethanol race fuel, which I wouldn't run on the street. So literally, it's only a rare occurrence that it'll really be this quick.
God. Just to remind everyone at home, this is a street car still. Despite the fact it runs 7 seconds, he can still drive to McDonald's and get himself a Big Mac.
We might have to do a video on that with you by my side, right?
Yeah. Well, that was the idea.
You'll have to pay though, because I can't afford to run it. It's so expensive to run.
I'll pay the fuel. Well, so you've got to this point, you've put a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and more importantly, a hell of a lot of money into it. So what's next for it?
So next plan is, I'm going to be selling this, and I'm actually going to move countries and live in a remote island, so I can't waste any more money. Literally, that's the plan. My wife will approve of that. No. To be fair, this can go deeper into 7. So one of the things is that running 7.75 isn't what the best it can do. Right. This can probably dip into the 7.5s at a real push, but everything has to line up. So I think the next plans might be doing a bit of half-mile racing. I really want to see how fast it can go. So I'm using the word fast here, Matty, which is top speed.
Top speed now.
Aim is I want to go above 230 miles an hour, which this car should easily do it. But it's one of those things, until you do it, it's not done.
Exactly. One thing you told me to feel straight after you did your run was to just grab hold of these 2 tanks at the back here. Now, can you run through why these are so cold after an 8-second pass? Okay,
so generally speaking with turbo cars, especially with this twin turbo kit, you've got these intercoolers here. You've got air that passes through them and then gets to the intake manifold and obviously through turbos, etc., whatever. Sorry, turbos first. What I fitted on here is something called an interchiller kit, supplied by Precision Racing in Australia. Really nice guys. What that does is it basically rechannels your aircon gas around to what they call an interchiller unit, which sits under here.
Right.
It then cools down the air and literally feeds cold air through here. But it does that by actually cooling the water system. So you've got this interchiller unit here, it cools the water system. It makes these basically almost freezing, not quite. We've been there before when literally there's just condensation forming on these. So by doing that, it means that when I do a pass, I've got really nice cool air, such as on a hot day like this.
Perfect. So obviously, as I mentioned before, a lot of blood, sweat and tears have gone into this. Who's helped you along the way? Who's been the main contributors to getting it how it is today?
So in terms of parts, we've got Boost Logic, who I'm very good friends with, and T1 boys. T1 Race, they're both in America. But the key guy who's built it all together is GV Performance. Shout out to GV, sick guy. He's basically listened to all my instructions, and every time he's deviated, I've had to give him a slap and say, no, G, get back on track. So I do love him, and I know he hates me for it.
Right, we're inside. Buzz is going to take us through all the stuff that's in here now with his mimicking hand gestures.
No, what happened was I told him to talk me through it and he's totally forgotten everything that's in here. So I'll do it for you considering I should know as it is my car. So a couple of things that are different between a standard Huracan and this is we've got this amazing carbon steering wheel from Charisma Designs in the US. I'm pointing it out because he's my boy. So carbon Tillet T1 seats. These are T1 seats that have been spec'd by T1, made by Tillet. We've got the harness here as well, got fire suppression, that's something that I missed earlier, so that's quite important that in the event I do have a fire like the GTR, I've got the ability to do my best to try and put the fire out. That's quite important to me. And we've got another fire extinguisher down here, we've actually got one in the front, we've got also another one in fact we've got a fire stick here. So we've got a lot of things. Again, helmet, take that with me everywhere just in case you never know when you might need to, no I'm joking, I don't race on the street, so that's not obviously true. Other than that, harnesses, and I think that's about it in terms of the interior trim. One more thing. this little lever here allows me to pull the parachute. So if I'm going really, really fast and need to slow down, I'll pull that. This is actually the lever for the fire suppression system. And the other cool thing is here is this the V10 keypad, which basically is made by T1, which the problem with something like a Huracan is there's not a lot of room to put any devices to know, for example, what map you're in, whether you want to be in burnout mode, even just, you know, there's a number of things you can't really see, whereas this addresses that problem. So I can adjust the map that I'm in, increase the power, decrease it, put it in burnout mode. There's other little bits for racing, such as pressing a button that drains all the pump fuel. So there's something that I've got on my car where if I want to take out the pump fuel and put in race fuel, I press a button and it starts coming out. Obviously, it has to be connected to a hose. It doesn't start gushing it out. But yeah, oh, and one more thing, I've got rolling launch, which is pretty fun. We might have to go for a pull. Yeah, it's fast.
That is fucking
You might need a change of underwear if you do come with me.
Well, thanks for joining us, Buzz. Thanks for bringing the car, mate. And if you want to see this car up close and personal, he is coming to Trax. This on September 1st. Head over to the website, get your tickets, and see us there. And if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe.